And you're watching Business World Live here on One News. I'm Jes Delos Santos. Let's take a look at how the local bourse closed today, Friday. Okay, the detection of the first set of local cases of the Delta variant in the country sent local stocks on a dive today. Prior to that announcement from the health department, we saw shares steadily on the upside, even gaining as much as 0.8%, poised to erase losses made over the past 2 days. But things went downhill since that news came out. As you can see in this chart right here, shares plunged as much as 1.1% before another last minute buying helped temper losses to 0.5% at 6,693.83. Now, before that news came out, Miguel Agarao of Phil Equity was quite optimistic that investors won't be pricing in the entry of the highly contagious variant. He added that imposed border controls against countries with reported transmission of Delta is a step in the right direction. Recall, of course, that Indonesia, which is currently experiencing a surge in cases, has been added in that travel moratorium by the country. Now, clearly, though, investors reacting negatively to that bit of news, that development even eclipsing news of lighter mobility curbs in Metro Manila, which is now at GCQ with no extra restrictions. Again, that's 16 cases of the new Delta variant, 11 of which are local cases. We'll give you more details later on in the program. Now, looking at individual stocks here, 18 of the 30 members in the main index capped off the week in the red, with GT Capital losing the most, down 5.2%, its biggest drop yet since May. Casino operator Bloomberry also sinking close to 4.9% following the day's developments in the green are PLDT, JG Summit, and URC. But also joining the sell-off in the all shares this time is EEI Corporation, even as it hopes to cop 6 billion pesos through a follow-on offering of preferred shares. So that's going to be 4 billion pesos for the initial offer and 2 billion pesos for the oversubscription at an offer price of 100 pesos a piece. But that's meant to help improve the construction firm's contracting capacity. Those plans weren't enough, though, to pull shares higher, as EEI ended the day at 7 pesos and 81 centavos a share, lower by 4.8%. Lastly, some developments on the Del Monte IPO. Well, the 38.3 billion peso IPO just secured the SEC's nod with 699.3 million common shares on offer at a price point of 54 pesos and 80 centavos a piece. But there's an over-allotment option of 104.9 million shares, which could at least see revenues being raised by as much as 5.75 billion pesos. Now, this is going to be the second biggest in the country after Mondenison's Monster IPO. Proceeds from the Del Monte IPO would go to debt payment and redemption of certain preferred shares, as well as budget support for the company. Again, the Del Monte IPO is slated for August 9 to 13, with debut scheduled for August 23. Here are the other headlines we're keeping our eyes on. 60 new cases of the Delta variant have been reported, 11 of which are local cases. 6 of these 11 Delta variant patients were detected in Region 10 and are part of a larger cluster of cases, while 2 were traced to NCR. Despite this, the health department says this cannot be considered local transmission just yet. The department says it will study whether these cases are linked to each other. It will also recommend imposing granular lockdowns to the IATF. Meanwhile, the country is expecting more COVID-19 vaccines from various sources. Over 1 million AstraZeneca doses arrived earlier today, while 1.6 million single-shot Janssen vaccines will land later this afternoon. This pushes the country's vaccine stockpile close to 25 million, with at least 1.5 million doses each from Sinovac and Janssen expected tomorrow. Sinovac currently has the biggest share in the country's vaccine stock at 13 million, only 1 million of which were donated and the rest procured. Now, more for parents in the country are looking to have their pets insured during the pandemic, with policies becoming available from several companies. The Insurance Commission says these policies offer reimbursement on veterinary bills for certain illnesses or accidents, as well as burial benefits for deceased pets. The agency says the start of the pandemic triggered interest for this segment, with more individuals depending on their pets to cope through the stress brought by COVID 19. Five companies currently offer insurance commission approved pet insurance products with annual premiums ranging from 2,000 to 5,400 pesos for medical reimbursements and burial aid benefits worth 10,000 pesos. Now, to talk more about this and other developments in the insurance sector, we have on the show Attorney Brian Sibuyan. He is the manager of the Insurance Commission's Regulation, Enforcement, and Prosecution Division. Good afternoon, Attorney Brian.
Good afternoon, sir, and good afternoon to everyone.
Okay, so this is news to me. This is the first time I'm hearing about this pet insurance, but this started back in 2018. But by how much has pet insurance gained traction since the pandemic started?
And anyway, to begin with, it's true that pet insurance products are already available as early as 2018. But on our monitoring, it seems that more insurance companies applied for product approval for pet insurance during this pandemic. Probably because during these difficult times, people who would look for other avenues to pass time, to make themselves busy, or just to keep doing anything while we are under the quarantine restrictions being imposed by the government, and one of which is the taking care of pets. Though pre-pandemic time, Filipinos are already fond of taking care of pets, be it cats or dogs. Nonetheless, it's just during this pandemic that interest has increased insofar as taking care of pets, considering
Mhm.
that there are benefits of having pets. One being a companion, the other being a playmate, or anything that you could think of just for the purpose of taking care of pets. So that being the case, I think that serve as the basis of several insurance companies to provide insurance protection insofar as our beloved pets are concerned, knowing that
Mhm.
Filipinos really take good care of their pets. Imagine we spend a lot taking our pets to pet grooming shops. Whenever they have illnesses, we bring them to the veterinarians to just to receive the proper medical attention that they need.
Now, Attorney
That
Brian,
yes,
how much of a money saver is a pet insurance given, like what you mentioned? I have pet owners spending thousands on pets.
sir.
How much of a money saver is a pet insurance? At least
Uh,
those available in the country.
it really depends, sir, on what the pet owner would really spend, because basically the covered risks are not really certain to happen. We
Mhm.
procure insurance for the purpose of having protection just in case the insured risk against happens. So
Mhm.
it's like saying it's better to have it without needing it than need it without having it. So insofar as the beneficial financial benefits is concerned, basically the insurance policies have these limits of liability. So perhaps if you max that out, that's probably the savings that you're going to ultimately realize when procuring an insurance policy for our pets.
But you did mention earlier there has been at least growing interest, growing number of inquiries. But has this already translated to actual policies being taken up?
As of now, sir, I'm afraid I don't have any data insofar as the statistical numbers for sales of pet insurance. Nonetheless, we have noticed in our insurance commission that through our public assistance division, we regularly receive queries relative to the availability of pet insurance. And most it's during this pandemic that we noted that it has the queries increased into several numbers, and it has become a regular query perhaps on a
Mhm.
monthly or regular basis.
But if this is a growing trend, why then do we only have at least five firms offering the said policy, this at least pet insurance?
Basically, this type of product is a niche market. So it would really depend on the risk appetite of insurance companies, because some insurance companies would rather focus on this type of particular product, whereas some insurance companies would dwell on other types, or some would also dwell on general types, but they manage their risk appetite depending on their capacity to cover or provide risk insurance coverage.
Okay, now, attorney, let me just shift the discussion a bit here from pet insurance. This time, let's talk about, of course, of the humans now. How much of a surge in health claims have you seen, at least, especially when it comes to COVID-19 payouts?
Anyway, sir, the by the way, the insurance commission regulates the life, non-life insurance industry, the HMOs or the health maintenance organizations, and the pre-need companies.
Mhm.
From these three different industries, we have noted that there was indeed an increase in the availment of benefits insofar as HMOs are concerned.
Mhm.
By the way, HMOs they do really make a big contribution insofar as this pandemic is concerned, because they have we have monitored that they have provided payment for coverages on the benefits of the HMO agreements that they have issued. Insofar as life insurance companies, they have initiatives to cover COVID-19 related claims, even if based on their policy, they don't provide coverage for these. For
Mhm.
non-life companies, we have noted as of late that there are now several companies who are willing to provide COVID-19 coverage, because
Mhm.
basically for non-life companies, pandemics or endemics are generally considered as an exclusion for their coverage.
Mhm.
Nonetheless, we have noted some companies providing for COVID-19 related risks.
Mhm. Now, like what you mentioned, there has at least been growing take up here, especially when it comes to COVID payouts. But that jump in health claims, couple that with the economy still in recession, has that resulted in insurers collapsing, or if not yet, what's the likelihood of insurers at least folding?
As of now, sir, I'm not aware that insurance companies are folding due to financial constraints. It's just a matter of perhaps you could attribute this to the capital build-up requirement being implemented by the insurance commission, wherein from 2013 they only need to have 250 million net worth requirement. By 2016 they need to have 550 million. By 2019 they need to have 900 million net worth requirement, and by 2022 it's supposed to be 1.3 billion. So
Mhm.
perhaps that's the biggest concern of insurance companies, especially for companies which capital net worth capital are way below the capital requirements that we are supposed to impose for each particular year.
Okay, again, capital requirement more or less the issue here when it comes to insurance companies in order for them to survive. Again, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Attorney Brian Sibuyan, Division Manager of Regulation Enforcement and Prosecution Division of the Insurance Commission. Thank you, Attorney.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
And those are the biggest stories this trading day, July 16, 2021. Catch Business World live again on Monday next week at 9:30 a.m. for the market open and 3:15 p.m. for the market close. I'm Jes Delos Santos. We are One News. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe. Philippines, have a great weekend.